Hey guys, and welcome to Faewood. So I thought today we would make the green man mask that I'm going to make for Dan's costume. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure if the Goblin Ball will be able to go ahead this year because of extended lockdowns that are happening through Victoria and New South Wales as well, but I'm based in Victoria. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead with the costume anyway. I'm sure we'll get to wear it at some point in the future. And it's just fun to make a costume. And I've been really excited to make some more costumes. And I didn't do it for a really long time, mostly because of the fact that, we can't really have events that often. And we're often locking down, especially here in Victoria. We've hit the over 200 days in lockdown so far in Victoria. Anyway, that being said, we're going to keep going anyway because it's fun to just make stuff anyway. And worst case, if we have to just wear it at home, we can wear it taking out the bin. I don't know if you guys remember that trend that was going, and I'm not sure if it was like a international sort of trend, but it was definitely in Australia. There was this trend to get dressed up to take the bin out, and it could be anything from dressing up in like your finest gowns or suits or whatever, or it could be costumes and things like that, and people were doing that to kind of take their bins out, just as a sort of funny thing, as you can't go anywhere, so you might as well just get dressed to take the bin out. Maybe that'll be all that we get to do this time. I don't know. Regardless, we're going to make a green man mask. Now, if anyone's stumbling across this that hasn't been watching, the process or whatever, I did begin making a costume for my husband using the dreaded Burda patterns. Not one I recommend for someone who's new to sewing, such as myself. I am like a novice sewer trying to learn what to do with sewing patterns. Burda was difficult, but we managed to get through and we have a semblance of a costume base. And I do need to adorn that with, leaves and things and make it a green man costume, which will be a video. But I decided we're going to skip that for now and we're going to move on to doing the mask for the moment. So I feel like that might help me be inspired to do the rest of the costume. So I went digging through my craft stash and pulled out a hefty box of various green items like mossy bits, berries. I've got the leaves that I got to do the rest of his costume as well. I did get a mask base as well. I thought that might be a little easier to have the shape at least of a mask to work from. So that's the base of the mask. This came from Spotlight in case anyone wants to know. And I've just got a whole ton of different things like little berries that I got off eBay. And these I'll probably use on his main costume as well. Some stuff that I already had, different moss bits. This is like a trim. I don't know if you can tell, it's got like leaves on it. This is one that I had in my stash as well, which is like a lace. Like you could cut them and have them as individual appliques or have them as a trim of leaves. Lots of leaves. Heaps and heaps of leaves. These are kind of cute. I don't know that I'll use these. I'm not sure that they're little fake mossy rocks. And then I have a couple other leaves, but I also have some molds. Now I think I've been trying to think of how I want to do this, and I've got a few different ideas. I would love to be good enough at leather work to create some beautiful leather leaves, because I've seen some absolutely gorgeous leather worked masks where they've shaped the leaves and carved detail into it and that sort of thing. And look, leatherwork is on my list of things that I definitely want to try, but not this time because I just want to use the bits that I've already got. Otherwise it starts getting expensive to delve into a whole new craft. So anyway, I have some different molds. This was one I had already in my stash. I feel like I got this from Over the Rainbow, which is an Australian craft like bead and polymer clay website. This one is a new one to me, and I can't remember if I got this on eBay or Amazon, to be honest, but I'll try and link it in case anyone is interested. I particularly wanted the like oak leaf ones, and I'm yet to use these. Now, don't know if I'll use these in it, but I just thought I liked the idea of like leaves and then some decorative elements around as well. So anyway, I'm just going to play. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to put this thing together, so we'll just, start playing. So I decided to make the eye holes bigger because I knew I wanted to go right up to the edge with a lot of the design and possibly use things like moss and stuff like that. And I didn't want to see any of the mask underneath either, so I needed to be able to sort of go right to the edge, if not over the edge of the eye shape. Plus, I just didn't love the shape of the eyes, so I did make them a little bit of a better shape, I thought. And I did use a lighter. Be very careful. It's a little flammable, but it just makes the edges not fray. Now, these leaves were really good because I wanted to build the shape of the mask out to be a lot larger. So having large leaves really allowed me to do that. If I had have started with a much smaller leaf, it would have been a bit more difficult unless I did something else to build the leaves onto. And I'll try and link to all of the things that I've used as much as I can in the description box. Now, I used florist wire on each of the leaves, mostly just these larger leaves. Some of the smaller leaves I use later on, I don't. But I wanted the opportunity to be able to bend the leaves how I want to give them a nice shape, add a bit more dimension into the mask. And, if you don't do that, then you're not going to have much chance to change the shape of the mask by adapting the leaves. You can use glue to an extent to get a shape that you want, but it's just a lot easier to get a nice shape. And I did trim a lot of the leaves as well. So I started at the top with full size leaves, but pretty much every second leaf was a little shorter. And then as I came around the sides, it was a bit shorter again. And then at the bottom, I made the leaves about half the size because that was the shape I was kind of going for. I didn't want to cover his whole face with leaves. I mostly wanted the leaves to be at the sides and top. Like the larger leaves, that is. Now, I had a few different colours of leaves, and I did this design by building up different colours. So I started with the green and brown leaves that you saw there, and now I'm adding a few of these yellowy brown leaves that look a bit more dried out on top. And then after that, I'm adding a different leaf again, which are these like orangey yellow coloured leaves. I just really like the look that it gives by building up the colours like this instead of having it all interchanged. It just adds these beautiful different layers of colour. Now, I decided not to use the moulds for the leaves in this. I decided to keep it to the fabric leaves. It'd be more comfortable, and I just liked all the fabric leaves together. I thought it might look a bit strange to have polymer clay leaves around in amongst that. But I wanted some of these decorative elements, and I love this mould. It's really nice. You do have to really press the clay in. And some of the details did get a little bit lost, so I had to fix those up when I pulled it out of the mould. And then I added in another colour again of leaves. These are much more red in colour and obviously a lot smaller. And I liked that graduation of size of the leaves as well for the design. Now, I quite often use wool tops as a sort of faux moss. It's such a great material for that. Also, in particular, the wool nibs that you can get, and I've got a bunch of those in different colours, and they just look like strange little different shaped mosses that you could have. So I'm really kind of layering different coloured mosses, and I'm keeping a lot of the moss mostly around the eye area because, again, it's just that sort of layering of design. You know, you could go ham and put moss all over it, but I feel like that might take away from things, so I'm keeping it very focused in around the eye area and going out a little bit, but not too far. Now, I did use these mossy rocks in the end, and mostly because it was just an easy way to make those little mini antlers pop, because then I could give a bit of dimension, a bit of shape to the piece, have them sit out a little bit further. And they're just styrofoam, so I was able to just press the things into it. And those berries, I love those berries as well, so I did add some of the berries onto the design. Now, I use a lot of these rubbing waxes. If you've been on my channel before, you've probably seen me use these umpteen times. I just find them so helpful. And I love this bronze coloured one that I've got, it's Art Alchemy. And then I use, I think the Treasure Gold one is another one I was using, and Rub and Buff. So I start with the bronze, ended up on top of that with the Rub and Buff gold colour, and I don't think I show it on camera, but I did another little layer of Treasure Gold, which is a even brighter gold colour. And, you know, when you're doing it, it's good to leave some of the black bits, because then it looks really aged. It looks more realistic, like a piece of actual metal might be, with, you know, tarnish that gets stuck in those crevices and things. And obviously I baked it and everything in the oven, which I didn't show on camera, but yeah, it's really easy if you've never used polymer clay. It's just a super easy medium that is very accessible at home. And to bring it all together, I added some of the same rubbing waxes onto the edge of the leaves. You could use paint, but that was what I was using anyway, so I just kept it going. And this is the finished piece. I mean, it's a really straightforward type of design in a way. I mean, there's nothing too technically difficult to create a mask like this, especially having that base of a mask to work off of. But I'm really happy with how it came out, and I'm looking forward to putting this together with the rest of the costume. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to hit subscribe if you want to see the other elements of the costume. And for the rest of you, I'll see you next time in Faewood. Bye guys.